We know you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services. Welcome to the Date Podcast, the show for anyone navigating the dating and relationship world. We interview celebrities, talk pop news, discuss dating do's and don'ts, and debate relationship topics. We are available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and review if you like what you hear. Check out our website, datepodcast.com, for more information. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now, let's get on with the show.
It's Emma.
Hey, it's Zorric.
Host of the Date Podcast, and we're excited for this episode because we have a really cool guest.
Who is our guest tonight?
Okay, so her name is Christiana Yebra, and she is the CEO for this really cool app called Vouch.
Unexpected, but I loved it. And I'm going to need you guys to come with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, we'll play sound effects everywhere.
That was real, like a Disney princess.
Only you do the same thing to me every once. Like, we have to switch roles, okay? Because I can't always give the attention. Like, I need attention.
Okay, I'm good about that. I can share. With
I mean, I can't,
sounds.
but I will try to do it for you.
So, what are we talking about today, Emma?
Okay, we're going to be talking about Christiana, obviously, and the app Vouch, and Zorric and I are on it, so...
Yeah, we are. We're vouching now.
Oh, I'm stressed.
And I have a few questions.
Oh, she has lots of questions, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for this.
Okay, so we'll talk to her about everything, I think, if you're okay with all the things. And just let us know if you feel uncomfortable, because Emma asks lots of inappropriate questions. Like, really, it's so bad.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
I am kind of used to it after putting myself in this in the dating world. I'm kind of used to the shenanigans.
Right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
learned about ghosting. I talk about dick pics. I talk about all kinds of things. I've learned a lot of
Dick
terminology.
pics should not happen. That's my philosophy on them. Nobody wants them.
Nobody wants them.
There are some people that want them.
No one asks for them.
I've said this multiple times. There is no beautiful penis. The penis is not beautiful. It is not attractive.
There's a lot. I've asked this question. Well, I don't guess I haven't asked this question a lot, but I get a lot of feedback about what girls want to see and guys want to see and what they don't want to see on your Vouch profile or their other dating profiles. All the other ones out there. There's a lot.
Can I vouch for a penis on the app? Can I?
That's a feature coming out next year. We're gonna just try to survive 2020, and then we're gonna mix it up in 2021.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that would be crazy. Okay, Emma.
Okay.
Do you have some stuff to talk about, or are we good?
Oh my gosh, so much stuff is happening. I don't even know where to start. Are you ready, Zorric?
Okay, let's do this.
I'm starting with a sad one, so don't interrupt me. Just play the music.
No, there's no music.
Zorric, I'm starting with a sad one.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so Chrissy Teigen and and her husband John Legend shared that they have suffered a pregnancy loss, and she was recently hospitalized for excessive bleeding, and so they posted, on social media, and they shared over their grief, and so grief is so personal, and I feel like as someone who has dealt with grief, I'm not someone that's public about it, but that's only because I feel like that's my own stuff happening to it. So I give power to people that can process their grief publicly. And I think losing a child is such a big deal. And the fact that they're able to talk about it, openly grieve, I think it just kind of gives a platform for others to share about infertility and pregnancy loss. And it's also kind of the irony that, October is the month that, brings awareness to this. I thought it was sad, but at the same time, I thought it was so powerful.
Awareness to what? Is it a particular month?
It's just anything dealing with infertility and losing children. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's rough. When did this happen? Recently? Or?
It happened, very recently.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you guys remember, they actually announced they announced a pregnancy in John Legend's video for the song "Wild," and so it was kept a surprise. Of course, we've all been socially isolating, so no one's really seen her. And then kind of for this to happen, I was just like, wow, that's tough.
That's crazy. I mean, I think it takes a long time to even get over something like that. I mean,
well, right? I feel like grief. I mean, for me, my belief and what I do is that I believe that grief is endless. There's no end point to it. I feel like anything can start the grief process over again, and so it's never ending.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wish them well, and I'm really glad that they were able to kind of, advocate for this and create a platform for it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it also makes the relationship stronger, I'm sure, right? You got to bond together, right, after something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some more, upbeat news. So, Lily Collins is recently engaged, and she came on the Live with Kelly and Ryan show. She made a virtual appearance, and she spoke about her engagement ring.
Who is she?
Lily Collins. Okay, she's done a lot of things that I don't think you've seen.
Christiana, have you seen Lily Collins? Do you know her?
I do know. I know exactly who Lily Collins is. She is either the daughter or the niece of Phil Collins. Daughter? She's the daughter of Phil Collins.
You're correct. 1 point.
Really?
1 point.
Wait, Phil Collins is British?
Yeah. I'm just I'm picturing the drums. I don't know what song that is, but I've actually been oddly compared to her because she's got dark features, dark brows, dark eyes.
Yes,
as the Mexican Lily Collins.
Yeah, okay. Looks
I know who that is, and I did see that she had a recent engagement, but she's on a new show that's kind of like Sex and the City. So from what I can tell from the previews, but
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So good for her. Congrats, Lily. How old is she?
1989.
Oh, really?
Okay. She's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
She looks young.
Lily. Should we text her?
She looks young. Yeah. So her ring is really pretty. So like I said, her fiance Charlie McDowell collaborated with jewelry designer Irene Newworth to create this ring. The ring is so beautiful. So it is a rose-cut diamond on a bezel setting with a thin gold band.
How many carats is this, by the way?
What's the carat count? Quickly.
Hurry up, Emma.
Not being shared right now.
Oh no. Okay. Huh. Does it matter, Christiana, the size of the ring? I mean, it doesn't matter. Right?
Man, if I was proposed to with a Walmart ring that just looked really great and didn't turn my finger green, I wouldn't know the difference. I'm not going to be the type that goes to look under a microscope.
Oh
I wouldn't know the difference.
You've answered 2 questions correct tonight.
We haven't even gotten started. We haven't really gotten started.
This is the game, actually.
Okay, this is the game. No, see, I don't know.
Game.
I'd rather you wow me with I don't know, the other stuff. I'm also historically bad at losing jewelry, so I don't really buy nice jewelry. So
it's a lot of pressure for guys, for sure.
Yeah.
The engagement, some women I've heard, they want this fairy tale engagement.
If COVID's taught me anything, it's the wedding is so much.
Yeah, I know.
For what? I've seen
true.
some really cute courthouse weddings. I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
You're not opposed to what? I'm sorry?
I've seen some cute courthouse weddings where they do a really beautiful photo shoot around coming in. It's just intimate.
My best friend had a wedding like that.
Yeah, my sister's had to postpone her wedding 3 times now, and I'm thinking just go elope somewhere. At this point, it's whatever.
For sure.
Yikes.
What else, Emma?
Okay. All right, you guys. So let me start with a funny, and then I'll end with a funny, okay? And then I have one in between.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I don't watch The Masked Singer. Do y'all watch The Masked Singer on Fox?
I've seen a few.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently this past week, it's season 4, week 2. The character called the Gremlin decided to take off his mask, and I was trying my hardest to find a video of this person singing so that y'all could try and guess, but for whatever reason, like, I could not find one anywhere. So the person that was revealed this week was Mickey Rourke.
Oh God.
Oh my God. He's still around?
Is he 90 years old? If you would have told me Mickey Rourke was dead, I would say, I believe that. How old is he now?
Well, he was
68.
born in 1952.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's not that old.
No, doesn't he look really old though?
Is it the drug use?
Yeah,
is that
maybe it's the
speculation or is
incessant
that
drug use.
true?
Well,
Yeah.
he looked old like 20 years ago. Sorry, Mickey.
I think that's why I thought he was old. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
but
congrats.
he basically said that it was too hot in his fuzzy suit, and then he couldn't get it, like, he was stunned, and he just took it off to reveal himself.
Oh, so he wasn't supposed to do that.
He wasn't supposed to do that. And what was funny is that Nick Cannon, is like the host of the show, and so he's like, "No, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that." And all the judges are like standing up. They're like, "What is going on?" And then he's like, takes it off, and he so they ask it, like, Nick Cannon was like, "Well, what are you doing here?" And he was like, "I was just in the neighborhood." And he's
Do you think it was a plot? You think
"I
they
like
planned
the show.
that?
I watched like 4 episodes, and they asked me, would you be interested?"
Oh my gosh, that's kind of funny. I mean, he seems like a no-nonsense type of guy. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, do whatever.
Interesting.
He does not care.
That's good. I'll watch that.
Okay, so real quick, I just want to touch base on The Crown because they have released photos of
It's a
Emma
good show.
Corrin. Okay, hello. Like, I might as well, be married to one of them, whoever's single. Emma Corrin as Princess Diana. And you guys, I swear, it's like split image. Like, who is who? You can't tell.
Damn.
Oh my gosh, it does look. They look the same for sure.
Right?
When does that season
they
come
look
out?
so alike.
Guess that'll be coming up, right? Like that'll be the next
Yes,
season.
it's coming out November. Sorry, so excited.
I didn't like the last season. Did you like the last season?
I didn't. I know so much about it for not ever having watched a full episode.
Are you a
But
historian?
Really?
I haven't watched a full episode. I haven't. But
I'm
I
judging.
followed. You should. But I followed the news when they were announced, like, the different drama that goes into it or who's being picked up. So I knew that was happening, but I hadn't seen the pictures or anything yet. So I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, I was like scrolling trying to get like all my info. I'm so excited for this. Also, can I just talk about that just the men, like Prince Charles, like, I'm not a fan, but I love his sons. I think his sons do a great job. Well, William does a great job. We'll leave it there.
Like, are we talking about the actors or the actual people?
No, like the actual people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, they're cool.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot
My
of drama in
last
that
story,
one.
I promise.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Live is coming back kind of like in person. So it's going to be, they're, using social distancing rules. But they're coming back, and Chris Rock, like on October 3rd, so what, Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday, Chris Rock is opening up SNL, and of course, my girl, Maya Rudolph, is coming back to portray Kamala Harris.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
She's so good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, Chris Rock, to me, he's like the funniest comedian. To me, I don't know what you think.
He's a funny guy, but I really love Maya. And I really love her as Kamala, too, because whenever I hear Kamala speak, I almost feel like she's mimicking Maya, but really it's Maya mimicking Kamala. So anytime she says anything, and I'm like, that little girl was me. Like, when she did the debate and like walked off camera, I mean, she's so good. Maya can do anything.
She can. I watch whatever she's in. So they have a new Joe Biden this season. So Woody Harrelson will not be coming back. Instead, it's going to be Jim Carrey portraying him.
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's going to be hilarious.
As
Jim Carrey.
Joe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, Alec Baldwin is returning as Donald Trump. And then also Beck Bennett will play Vice President Mike Pence.
Who cares about him? Just kidding. That ended really. So, music just shut down.
I like Beck Bennett though. He's funny.
He's cute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I love SNL. I don't know about you guys, but
Yes.
it's one of my most favorite shows ever.
Anytime I have time to go to New York, which hasn't been much recently, I try to pull the lottery to try and get on SNL.
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never made it.
Oh, cool. Aww.
Never made it. I got 2 tickets away from being on set for Jimmy Fallon, and then they cut me.
Oh no, the Jimmy Fallon one. Whenever he came in with Justin Timberlake.
This was from the Jimmy Fallon show, so I went and lined up in line, and
okay.
I literally they picked up to 40, and I was 41, and my friend was 42.
Yeah, it's a weird process,
bummer.
right? Because you got to stand in line at a certain time, and then you can leave, but you can't go too far.
No, I wouldn't even recommend that you leave
I
because
know.
you never know if you're gonna lose your spot. It's a very weird process. I've only done randomly. I got into it on a show in LA. It was Craig Ferguson.
Oh, correct.
Who,
The British guy.
Yeah. He was Irish or.
Oh, maybe he
Scottish.
was. Yeah.
I got to be on 2 episodes.
Who was
with
Scottish.
him.
Yeah.
And but that was in LA, and that was total mistake. I didn't even mean to participate in that, but there it was.
Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun, the experience, right?
Yeah.
I tried for the Graham Norton show in London.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't get it, but I tried.
Who is Graham Norton, first of all?
Oh my
Who is
gosh, what's
that?
wrong with you?
I have no idea.
Hilarious.
Is
if you
he?
take
I'm taking my Vouch review away now.
Oh, no.
Oh
no.
boy. That he's hilarious, and he gets the best
hilarious.
people, and then he puts them in group settings where they have to basically 4 or 5 people of the the biggest stars on a stage.
Oh,
He'll
okay.
have Bradley Cooper and Emma. What's her name? Oh my God, the super cute one, red hair. What's her name? Emma
Oh, Emma Stone?
Stone.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Emma Watson, but different. He'll just have the best people on stage, and he just jokes and asks them embarrassing stories, and just
Yeah.
no rules.
Nice.
May I just say he had both Sophie Turner, who is the current wife of Joe Jonas, and Taylor Swift, the ex-girlfriend of Joe Jonas, on the couch together.
Oh really? How'd
And
that go?
she went up to her. So Taylor went up to Sophie and was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you," and gave her a hug.
Ooh.
No fights. No.
They're too classy.
Sophie
Yeah.
Turner is a classy lady.
Class
Okay.
act. I like that you
okay.
said current wife of Joe Jonas too.
You never know.
Current.
You never know.
You never know.
You
What's
never
in the
know.
I think they just had a baby. They
yeah.
just had a baby.
Yeah, they
Congrats,
did
guys.
just have a baby. Yeah.
Okay, Emma. What else?
That's all I got.
Okay. That's all you got? That's it? Okay. So we don't have Christiana here just for nothing. We're here
No.
to talk to her about stuff, not just pop culture, but other things. But we want to play a game first because we want to get to know you a little
Love
bit.
a game.
So
Yes.
we couldn't figure out a name for this game, but I think, Emma, we should call it Christiana Loves Blank.
Oh.
Right? So the game is called Christiana Loves like a blank, like literal
Yeah.
blank. And what's gonna happen
All right.
is I will say Christiana loves, and Emma will say something, and I will say something.
Okay.
And we're trying to get you to pick our something.
Oh.
But you can't be biased. You can't be biased. No, you just gotta really truly take the answer at its word and choose.
So I'm picking between you guys.
Yeah.
Who's the most right?
Who's the most right?
Okay.
Okay.
It's like a weird version of the newlywed game
Yeah.
where you guys don't know me. We're just gonna mix it up. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
I'm here for it.
All right, Emma, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go first. Let me get my notes out. Christiana loves naughty words or
Making scented candles.
I kind of want to do both. I want to.
No.
I want to have a scented candle that's a naughty word. I probably say more naughty words than I do make scented candles.
Okay.
I do love a scented candle, but I don't make them.
Okay, so I got this one, Emma. Okay, that was a good one because I don't know. I feel like everyone loves naughty words, but I feel like you might like naughty words more.
Like I would love a delicious like fall candle that's like, I don't know, a naughty word. I don't know. I was gonna go. Let's just. I don't know. I was gonna say something. I don't know. I don't want to start off on like a really high level here.
Okay.
No, I would like but if I could combine the two, it's not scented candle with a naughty word.
Yeah. Where did you get scented candle, Emma?
Yeah,
Did you just see her profile and you just thought a scented candle
that girl
suits
loves
her?
a scented candle.
No, I just finished watching The Office Dinner Party for like the 100th time.
That's where that came from?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Serenity by Dan.
Okay. Okay. I win. All right. You ready? Another
Ready?
one?
Okay, yes, I think.
Christiana loves crisp dollar bills or
Snake plants.
crisp dollar bills or
Snake plants.
the whole world wants to know this answer.
People have been waiting to find. That's why they're tuning in right now. I really love a good oxygen breathing, carbon dioxide eliminating snake plant. Mine are all named in my home. Even watching my videos, they're in every video as my backdrop. Right,
I did take this one from Instagram. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of snake plants. Love a snake plant.
So it's tied 1-1. Okay.
Okay.
We'll do 3 more. 2 more. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Sure? This is a tough one. Oh, it should be tough, right, Emma? Let's make this tough.
Ready.
Yeah.
Christiana loves a medium rare steak. Oh. Hey.
Oh.
There's so many to choose from. Christiana loves a medium rare steak. Or
Skiing in the mountains.
How do y'all know me so well? I love a medium rare steak. Do you know what I'm upset about? There's not a Texas Roadhouse in close proximity, and that's my favorite place to go for a medium rare 8-ounce steak. All right, 1 point for you.
Oh, see, Emma.
I'm hungry now.
Okay.
Step up your game, okay?
Skiing?
Okay.
I haven't done that in a long time, but I would kill for a steak right now.
Okay. You ready for another one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go first.
Okay. Christiana loves painted toes. Or
Owning a small dog.
This one's gonna be tricky.
painted
Seeing
toes.
as I haven't gotten a manicure or pedicure for, I don't know, a year now. Love a cute puppy, specifically mine. She's an angel. I want to kiss her. I miss her. Puppies for sure.
Yeah.
Puppers. Okay, so 2-2. I think we have
Yep.
one more to go.
Okay.
This is the
Ooh,
tiebreaker. This is
This
it.
will be the tiebreaker.
This
I don't know
is
why
for all
I'm
the marbles.
stressed. You guys are winning. I don't know why I'm nervous. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. All right, Emma. Pick a good one on your list here. Pick a good one.
I like this game. Good job, guys.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is pick your best one, Emma, because I'm gonna pick a good one.
Okay.
Okay. Christiana loves Mr. Potato Head or
Jogging.
Oh. What? Okay. Well, if anybody knows me, they know I hate to run. But I don't know what to do with Mr. Potato Head. I do like potatoes. I'd like to open up a potato place called Spud Daddy. Anybody interested? Okay, I'm gonna go with Mr. Potato Head because he would have to be the mascot. He'd have to be the mascot of Spud Daddy.
that was such
I
a
hate
good
losing.
Late night baked potatoes. It's my next company.
Okay, so
That was a weird. Where did you even come up with that?
That was the game. It's just we need to get to know you.
You could. I'm gonna give you a suggestion for the name. What do you vouch for?
Oh. Plug.
Christiana vouches
Plug. Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Every week. Oh my gosh, we're talking about Vouch every
That's
week.
probably going to be the title of
I'm
this
going to try to be the
episode.
new sponsor, so that's when you play that with other people. You like, what do you vouch for? Sponsored by Vouch.
There you go. I'm going to record that too. That was a good drop.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was fun. Okay. So we're not here for fun and games. Like, not here for fun and games. We want to know you, really. So, very important question.
So important.
Where did you grow up? I know this is like the craziest question, but where did you grow up?
I'm a military brat, so I've lived all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I lived all over the country, and I've lived overseas as well. But I've spent most of my time here in Texas, so I say I'm from Texas. I was born in El Paso at a military base, and then did military bases around the world until I landed in Texas about 2003.
2003.
So I've been here since then.
So is
it fair to say that Dallas is your favorite place?
It is. I have chosen to be. I went to college around here, and then after that, I decided to stick around. So I say Dallas is home.
So if since you're moving around a lot, did you date a lot moving around?
No, I mean, I moved not in 5th and 6th grade.
You never know.
No, I landed.
Never know.
I landed in Dallas or in Texas in 2003. I was in 6th grade, so no.
Okay.
I definitely didn't date around before then. But no, I really have had a very limited amount of long-term relationships. Really not. I can count them on one hand.
Okay. So I think is it safe to say you've only dated Texas men?
So if you're asking if all of my exes live in Texas,
yes,
is that what you're going
that's
for?
where it's going.
They don't, but that's because they've transplanted out of Texas. So they're explanted. What do you say when they leave? They immigrated. They've immigrated out of Texas. All my exes do not live in Texas, but there's a global franchise that I have. I'm just kidding. They don't live here. Most of them.
So any dating in high school? Because to me, you're very outgoing, very extroverted, like maybe the popular person. Were you that?
No, I really wasn't. I was no. I don't think I really found my voice until. I mean, not really not that long ago. I was kind of because I jumped around so much. I landed in Texas in a civilian environment, which I wasn't familiar with. I'd only lived on military bases, prestigious ones like West Point, the military academy, and grown up with kids that were like the kids of generals and fucking astronauts, and like it was insane. And so to then move to Killeen, Texas, which is outside of Fort Hood, which hasn't gotten the best PR lately. Unfortunately, bad things have been happening there. It's just not the same environment. It's so different. So I really struggled with that, like trying to find where I fit in. I had just grown up in such a different world, and then landed in Texas, and it was just, a total 180 from what I was used to. So, yeah, I was not the cool girl for many years.
Prom queen? No.
No. So, like, junior year, I figured it out. Like, I figured out that I liked people. I really did. And it didn't do me a service to be at the back of the room and to be quiet. I was, I really found my voice in, like, making friends. I was that person that really, truly was friends with every group. Like, I didn't ostracize one group or another. I just found a way to be friendly to everybody.
In other words, you were the connector, right? You kind of knew everybody. Maybe you brought everyone together through parties at your parents' place, right? Or
with my colonel dad. Yeah, sure. Yeah. He would have. That would have been a long. I don't think I ever threw a party at my house. The junior, senior year, I kind of found my voice. I found where I fit in academically. I really, it wasn't cool to be the smart girl at my school. It wasn't cool to be the one that, aced every test. It was more about how social you were and how much alcohol you drank. And I didn't really care to drink at all, and I just wanted to be social. And so senior year, I figured it out. I was prom princess.
Oh, see, there you go.
And I was up for homecoming queen. I didn't win it, but and that really kind of turned like a different corner for me of how do I use my voice to connect people and make friends. And I don't really keep in touch with a lot of people from high school, but it's really funny. The popular girls ask me for jobs now after they try to sell me on an MLM, where I'm like, I don't need another form of income. Thank you, though, Bethany from 2008. I don't want to sell
for sure
magnetic eyelashes today. Sorry about that. But it really changed. I look back now, I'm like, man, I cared so much about what people thought, and now I look at the people that I really looked up to, and they're just not doing what I would aspire to be.
They're human, right? And I think Emma and I kind of fall into that category where we used to care about what we say on the podcast, but now we don't give a shit. You know, like we're going to say what we want to say. And even in life too, I think if you're hesitant, if you're kind of reserved, I think it doesn't suit you well, especially in the business world, right? You got to get out there.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you got to find a balance. You got to find a balance of the two. Like, you got to figure out where you're the most comfortable in, so you're not just a fabricated version of yourself. And then you got to find out what you're passionate about. And in high school, you really don't have a clue. Like, I truly thought I was going to own. This is how lame I was. I really thought I was going to go to FIDM in New York and be this fashion merchandising major who sold jewelry in a boutique somewhere. Like, that was my vision, like, junior year, because I liked to sew. I was in this class where we got to make clothing, and what I didn't realize is that actually translated, I'm really good at sutures. And so I did a suture lab one time in high school, and they're like, actually not bad at this. Are you ever considered the medical field? And until that point, I didn't understand how to translate my love for fashion and textiles to my love for people. And so that switch became a whole new pathway for me that I didn't expect.
Sidebar, let's be best friends so that you can teach me how to sew. I know how to knit and crochet, and I know how to cross stitch, so, you know, very similar to sewing. I just want to perfect it and really be able to use like a sewing machine.
Yeah, I really prefer to do a lot of things by hand, so you probably have actually a lot more skills than I do.
Okay.
I don't have a sewing machine or anything at home, but that was my first love with using my hands in a different way, you know, than that class was just kind of like, it was really supposed to be like a bullshit elective class you just take with your girlfriends at the start off the morning, because the teacher didn't care if you came in late, and you got to make a pair of pants that you were never going to wear. But it was where I figured out that I was actually really talented with my hands when it came to hand stitching. So.
Can you
love it?
Paint me something then?
I don't know about that, but if your arm needs to be sewed back together, I probably
we know who to call.
Yeah.
We know who to call.
We know who to call.
There you go.
So you talked about you haven't had any long-term relationships. Was it because, you know, maybe you might move away, or I don't know? I mean,
no, I actually have had more long-term relationships than I've had the shorter, because for me, being part of a military family was really short-term. I mean, the longest I'd ever lived anywhere before Texas was 4 years, and prior to that, like, I did a 10-month stint for 6th grade. I lived in one city for 10 months. Like, that's not even enough time to like say my full name. I've got a long name, so like, you know, and not just to get familiar with street signs, you know. And I hadn't lived anywhere long enough, so I was over kind of the short-term piece, and I've really only ever had longer-term relationships that were between a year to 4+ years, and I really haven't done the 2-month thing or the 6-month thing.
So you basically just get in there and commit typically, or maybe you're just very picky with who you go on dates with.
I definitely was that person who was like, I did have boyfriends in high school, and I had a boyfriend all through college, but I wasn't really in the dating scene necessarily. I jumped into relationships, and I tried my best to commit to them when I felt comfortable, but then confident to leave when I didn't. And it's so funny. Like, I look back at high school, like the people that like broke your heart, like the guy that broke my heart is the manager of a Loopies now, and I'm like, oh, you know, really dodged a bullet with that one. But like he was the focus of my, you know, whole year. And I look back and like how much those things meant to us, and now they just mean nothing. And so I have a 17-year-old brother, which is weird for me because like I'm just old enough to be not a mother figure, but I'm like the cool aunt, you know, even though I'm a sister, but I'm like, I'm motherly towards him, and he knows not to mess around with me, but he respects me in a different way than he respects my sister, who's 3 years younger than me. Like, it's just like a 3-year difference between like, are you gonna bully me, or are you an ally? So I try to tell him, you know, and I've said this to him since he was probably like 12 or 13. Like, look, man, I know that there are things you're gonna think are cool, and I'm not gonna be able to be impressionable about that. Like, I'm not gonna be able to change your way, but let me just tell you what people are gonna remember. It is how you treated them, and that's your teachers. Have respect for your teachers, because you know who's gonna write those letters of recommendation? Those teachers. So be respectful to your teachers, and everything else will just come, you know. Like, don't worry about the girls, don't worry about making friends, don't worry about changing who you are to fit a mold. And I also know that people told me that when I was in high school, and your parents, And you don't believe them. And so I like to feel like because I'm the sister, the cool aunt vibe, that maybe he'll listen to me.
Yeah, I think it's difficult because as a man or a boy, when I was growing up, I was just chasing women. That's like all I thought about. Going on dates,
You're
meeting
still
women.
chasing women.
I'm still chasing women. I have some messages here that we're waiting for me to respond. So I mean.
We don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah,
Got somewhere to be.
I should have invited them here. Oh,
bring them here. Let's just knock it out. Let's just rapid fire bachelor style.
Put them all here, and then
I'll quiz them.
Yeah,
Emma will have some questions.
Please.
Yes.
So when I ask about your dating life, because it's so interesting that you are a CEO of a dating app, and so we do a dating podcast, but oftentimes people think that we kind of I got it all under control, but no, I do not, or Emma doesn't. I mean, we have our faults, right? We don't know.
I always say, listen to what I say. Don't do what I do, because I know I'm the worst dater ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I guess as you got older, how did you meet men typically? Like online dating or parties?
Let's talk post high school, because that really wasn't, I don't think anyone cares about what I did in high school. But in college, I had met somebody that was from my hometown and was a familiar face in college, and we were together for 3 years, and that was really fun. But it just didn't work out. I was on a totally different pathway, and I think there was a lot of social pressure too, because we were just going totally different ways. And he made some not so great choices, and it just caused me to think like, this is great. You're my best friend, but this isn't a long-term thing. And we're going to be moving to 2 different cities, and I had my eyes set on medical school, and you just don't play around in medical. I'm not the type of person that gets perfect grades without trying. I'm the type of person that, like, if I work my ass off, I'll get the A. But if I just fuck around, I'm going to get the C.
Yeah.
I'm not, my sister and my brother are wildly, like, gifted, like, intuitive with school. I mean, like, academic to a different level. They don't have to try, and they'll get, like, the 92. That's not me. So through college, after that, I knew medical school was on my pathway, and I didn't want to be in a relationship that wasn't either a marriage. Like, I knew friends who went into medical school married, and I think that was good for them, or entirely single. Like, I just wanted to go each way. So after that, other than knowing mutual friends and things, I was new to Dallas. I was newly single, and I used to go out as a way to just make friends. And so that was my kind of way of connecting to people. And no long-term relationships ever came out of that. I met somebody when working in the ER, and
was he a doctor?
No, a patient.
Okay. Were you suturing him up?
Yeah, it literally got beamed in the head and came to my ER into a trauma center, and that was really interesting. We ended up connecting separate from that, and that was about a year. And then
wait a second. How did he connect with you? Like,
no one knows this story. No one knows this story. Okay. Well, here we are. So this is 2014. Tinder was new, and so new that we were like, "What the hell is this?" Right? So this kid gets hit in the head with a baseball in my ER. Was a very weird encounter. Didn't see him. I was like, good luck. Luckily you don't have a brain bleed. And then found me on Tinder the next day and said, I think that I know you from somewhere. And I was like, nope, never, no. And so we dated a year, but that wasn't something I thought it was going to be a long-term thing. And
But hold on. So how do you know that? I mean, did you know right away?
I knew. This totally different career path. I needed someone who challenged me mentally. And that was it was a very unique experience that I don't think a lot of people go through. It challenged me in a different way that really put a lot of pressure on me, and I really didn't handle it very well. It's something I don't think I handled in a way that is like myself, and I put a lot of thought into what I was going to do next.
There's some pros and cons about that, because finding someone like yourself sometimes backfires. Like I want someone also that's super ambitious, maybe entrepreneur.
Sure.
And I've dated that person, and we just like did not click. We're like, my business is more important than yours, and no, hers is.
It's hard.
It's
really
you got to find a balance, like you said.
Yeah,
right?
you do, and that relationship it didn't challenge me in a way that was going to be something that I knew as long, and I knew that, and I made some mistakes because of that, and so my next move, I took a little bit of time off, not too long. And I actually reconnected with somebody that I'd met in the startup community, and we've been together for 4 years. And not a lot of people know that. That's actually, like, if you scroll through my Instagram, you really won't see much of that, and I love that. I love that it's kind of an incognito thing. It flies a little bit under the radar because people get to focus on my work and who I am, and it's not about what's Christiana's relationship. I've done the high-profile thing, and it just didn't serve me. It didn't serve us. It's actually
Wait, who is your high-profile? Is it Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, it's Mickey Rourke. Yeah, it's Mickey Rourke. It just didn't serve me. It didn't like do things that fulfilled my heart or my brain. And I think to be honest, more importantly at that time was my brain. And so looking for somebody who challenged me mentally, who could see eye to eye on the fact that I couldn't, I do late night podcast, or I film a show and I don't get to come home. The thing that I hated the most when I was dating was in the peak of dating, I was working overnights in the ER, like literally from 10 p.m. to 8 in the morning. I nannied for a couple of hours in the day, and then I did the whole thing again. So I really didn't have a lot of time for social hour. And I was actually building a startup while doing those things. So I was just tapped for energy. And my least favorite thing to hear from guys is like, oh, your hustle's so sexy. And I'm like,
but it is, though.
It is.
It is.
Until it's not. I don't come home from 2 o'clock because I'm hosting an event, or I'm, waking up early to go on the news, or I'm so tapped all day that I don't have time to respond to your text. And I'm not the person, like, if you know anything about me, I'm not texting you all day. I'm not, posting all day. I'm not communicating all day because I'm doing so much. And so it is sexy to somebody who gets it and gets, in less than just like a basic attraction way. It's more like, this is something that could be a relationship. You only see that if you get the other side. Yeah.
I think the problem with, most dudes we're intimidated maybe, of your career or a woman that's more successful than I am, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the insecurity to me.
And that came out.
Sure.
Yeah, that came out a bit in previous, like kind of more short term, like just dates where it's that, oh, your hustle, so whatever. And then it's like, well, I'm sorry, I actually probably won't be able to see you for another 10 days because I'm doing these things and I'm launching a startup and we're doing, a lot. I'm really active. And so, yeah, it's different. I think if you don't understand this space, it's hard to translate it into what it might look like in a relationship. And so what was important to me was, not the glitz and the glam. It was who's going to empower me to do me, but be there for me when I'm ready to turn that off and be someone else.
Yeah, and I think for someone like you that's very busy, I think it's very hard in the beginning to be have momentum. I feel like in dating you should have momentum, right? Going on 1 or 2 dates a week, and it just kind of gets better crescendos, and you guys kind of make some strides in the relationship, right? And it's hard when, especially now, Corona too, harder date definitely. But some of us are still dating. Emma is always on a date every weekend.
Every single day I'm on it.
With her mask and plexiglass she carries around.
A shield, a force field.
Yeah.
I do have shields.
So let's talk about Vouch. So that's an interesting concept because it's very interesting. Emma, someone's calling me.
Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, Emma.
Sorry, it's a date.
Yeah,
it's a pending date.
It's a date. But no. So first of all, as a CEO of Vouch, which you are, how has that changed your thought about love?
Well, when that opportunity came about, which is also a very strange way to encounter a startup, I gave a lot of thought into, is this like even something that I could personally vouch for? Like, my friends hadn't had super positive experiences on dating apps. That actually have like really, to be honest, kind of scary ones. And they're great tools to meet people and connect, especially if you're in a new city and it's like kind of low commitment, right? You're just swiping through. And so I really gave a lot of thought, like, do I want to be part of just another startup or just another dating app? And with Vouch, what I liked about it, which comes back to this like true connection and what love really means, is I don't want people to have to swipe for 1,000 swipes to find somebody who might be great for them. Although dating online is and sociologists from Bumble and Tinder will tell you that it's a numbers game. I didn't really want it to feel like that. I wanted to feel more engaging and more context to it. So Vouch, changed my way viewing what dating apps could be, and kind of layered in some like thought and authenticity to it. And it's still young, it's still growing. You don't, it's not like Tinder where you can just swipe endlessly through a million matches and never hit like the end. You can actually hit that very quickly, even in Dallas, which is one of our hot spots.
That's sad too. It's like I've seen every woman in Dallas and I'm still single.
It's about intention. So like, you're not going to find love if you're looking for the hookup. It's just not going to happen.
But I think most people are not.
They're not.
Do you think people are? Because I don't think so.
I don't think that they are. And if you're not, that's fine. There are so many apps for that. And I almost tell people like, hey, like if that's what your vibe is, then go choose one of those. I mean, there are apps that are purely built to be like about affairs, like hooking up with people that you're not in a relationship, or multiple people. Like there are apps for that casual encounter or the fun that's very temporary, but then there are apps that try to offer a more authentic approach, which I think by empowering people with information and context leads to stronger relationships. And I think Hinge, to be honest, I think that Hinge did it really well. They asked more questions. They gave you more of like a survey feel when you're filling out your profile. It wasn't just a bio. It wasn't just a, did you have just mutual friends? It wasn't girls have to talk to you first. It was less gimmicky and more information involved, which I think gave people right off the bat to know how involved they wanted to be with somebody like that.
Yeah, I think, did you have something, Emma?
I was just going to say, like, let's kind of explain how Vouch works.
Yeah, it's definitely different. The way I kind of, a lot of people listening probably are very familiar with what dating apps look like. There's a lot of swipe mechanisms. You build a profile. But what's missing in other dating apps and other dating profiles is, what do people think about you? What do people have to say about you? What
like
do your
reviews,
friends think?
right?
Reviews.
Yeah.
Not like a product. We're not like trying to rate like a
I am a product
microphone, right? Like I'm like 4 stars on this microphone. 5 stars for all of this, by the way. All great.
Definitely.
Well, I wouldn't say Zorric's a product. I'd say he's more of a tool.
Oh, thanks.
But what's missing is like, okay, here's how I'll just make it like the most basic level. If you're somebody who's in a position to hire somebody, or maybe you're even just thinking of going to a brunch spot, right? In a new city, do you go to that place if it has no reviews or one review that was written by like a mom or a bot? No. Like if you're landing in Miami and you were like, we're going to go to a cute brunch. If you land on Yelp or whatever, Foursquare or whatever the other ones are, and there's nobody vouching for that spot, you're probably less likely to go there and more likely to go to the one that has 10 or 15 and they have really well thought out, nicely written reviews about the ambiance and what it looks like. And in the world of online shopping, you don't really buy things on Amazon if they've got no reviews. You're like leaning towards what I call this new type of social currency, which is references, referrals, it's recommendations. And so I have a couple of comparisons. So there's brunch, but then if you're in the corporate world and you understand LinkedIn profiles are written by you. You pick the picture, you get to fill out what your job description was, but at the bottom of the LinkedIn profile, these recommendations that you have to invite somebody to recommend you, right? It's not just like, I can't just show up on your profile if we're not connected and just be like, I'm in the mood to write Zorric a really bad review about our experience together.
Oh, for real? I haven't been on LinkedIn in forever.
Oh, really? It's a great place. Yeah. It's, it's like this live, active, living resume. And, you wouldn't hire somebody who had a too good to be true resume without references, right? Like if you're like, okay, so he went to Harvard and he worked at Google and he worked at Facebook. Why is he applying for my entry-level accounting job? You'd want to be like, okay, this is kind of bizarre. Let me talk to those references. And that's missing. Like the accountability, context, that whole piece is missing from dating apps. And it has led to people being like non-intentional and also shady on platforms. There are people, 40% of dating app profiles are fake, or they're people who are on there creating fake profiles. They're either bots or fake accounts. It's a very large, it's a significant number that scares the shit out of me that so many accounts are fabricated. And then there's a whole nother realm of things where people are joining these apps with bad intentions to scam you or harm you. So what Vouch does differently is we still let you do that swipe mechanism. We still let you build your own profile. It's actually relatively lean. Like something that really bothered me with and feedback from users was being able to exclude or include people of certain ethnicities or certain heights or other kind of physical characteristics. And I'm like, does that really tell you who a person is? No. It tells you what they look like, I guess, but is that going to determine your compatibility? No.
No.
So we kind of leaned out the profile, like super lean, but what we did is we let you pick your photo, you write your bio, but your friends essentially authenticate your account and say, hey, so-and-so is great. They're fun to travel with. If you look at what my Vouch profile is, obviously for marketing purposes only, it'll say things like Christiana's the life of the party, and she's most likely to invite you to an event because that's what all she does. She's fun to travel with. My best friend that I've had for 15 years says she's all right, and that's all it says. So it just shows you, like, gives you character to your profile. It also lets your friends kind of verify that you're real and your name is real and that your photo is you. There's this huge increase in really overly filtered photos and made up bios and fake accounts.
Yeah.
So catfishing is at an all-time high, and so Vouch essentially allows you to verify with friends. And then kind of an underlying feature that I don't really talk about as much, but people are very interested in, is we actually let your friends play matchmaker. So if someone, a single or a not single friend, can join Vouch as a voucher, two separate entities, like two separate versions of the app, if you will, within the same app. You join as a voucher, you never show up in the dating side of things. And like your profile, if your mom wants to vouch for you, she's not going to show up on, the dating side as like ready to mingle. You join as a voucher, and then you can pre-swipe matches. And what that does is like automatically sorts those people that are pre-selected for you to the top of your match list. So you're swiping for less amount of time, and you're swiping for people that your friends are like, hey, this person's name's cool. Why don't you check them out?
It's kind of fun because so Emma and I signed up, and we got on there, and then so I guess we connect as friends, and so we did that, and then so she had to sign up, and then so I had to write her a bio. And
so you were the voucher.
And I had to write him one.
Oh, you guys vouch for each other.
Here we go. Here's my bio for Emma.
Oh, I'm ready.
You ready for this? At her best, she is incredibly self-aware, realizing that alongside ineffectual leaders, her presence demands intimidation.
Jesus Christ.
And
Did you max out the characters?
And reveals the weaknesses of others. Quite tactfully and steadily, she uses people's fear response to control them.
Award-winning, Academy-winning. You should write bios for everybody. Damn.
No. This is actually Cersei Lannister's bio because Emma loves Cersei Lannister.
Me too.
So it's fun. This is fun.
Yeah.
But
Hold on,
we'll change
I
it.
got a remind for you.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I did a good job, Christiana. So you're gonna have
wait.
to help me.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me play some sexy
There
music.
it is. Okay.
This
It's
is
a full moon tonight, guys, if you don't know.
Sure.
All right. What do you have for me, Emma?
Zorric is my best friend.
That's it.
He loves his two dogs,
it.
and they are his world. He has recently bought a house and is ready to fill it up with love.
Oh, God. Let's sure where we're going. Okay. Fill it up with love. Okay. Is that it? 5 stars.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
5 stars at the end. Wow.
But that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, let me add the 5 stars at the end.
Yeah, put 5 stars.
Okay.
I like to put like swipe right or lose out. I like to vouch for my single friends. I don't know. It serves two purposes to me. It's like, it's like a fun way to verify that someone's like legit. Someone the other day was like, oh, what if somebody married joins Vouch? I'm like, well,
that's okay, right?
I can't. Well, yeah. Okay, I mean, joining it to date. Like, what are you doing to keep married people from joining your app? No, actually encourage it for them to be the vouchers. But if they wanted to join the Vouch app to be a dater, like if I'm like a married dude in Highland Park. And look, she vouched for you. It showed up on your.
Oh.
Look at that. Look at the vouch. The vouch notification just came up on FaceTime.
I changed the 5 stars.
There, your 5-star review. True to size. You know what I mean? But like if I'm like a dad in Highland Park and I'm like married, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna join Vouch to see what ladies are out there. Like, who are you gonna invite to vouch for you? Like the boys you just invited over a barbecue? Yeah, your kids. Like if you're married, like if you're on there for the wrong reasons, you're probably going to have 0 people vouching for you, and it's going to give the same effect of a shitty brunch spot or a newly opened brunch spot that nobody knows anything about. So you're more likely, we kind of train our users to look for people who have vouchers, at least one person that says, hey, someone's great. You guys should invite. I would like to vouch for both of you. So please make sure. I feel like my vouch counts for like 2.
Is there a correlation between how many vouchers you have with matches?
Absolutely. So we see that anybody who has 3+ vouchers has a much better response in terms of right swipes and engagement within the platform, meaning more messages are coming in, more questions. Like, we're just seeing higher success on the tech side when you have 3+. So I always recommend like invite 10 people to vouch for you, and if 3 or 4 of them say yes, awesome. And that's a good place to start. And I get it. I think it's a lot to ask people that maybe, if you've got friends who've been a couple since they were in high school, which I have a lot of friends who've been married since basically high school. It's a lot to ask 2 people who've never used a dating app to download a dating app, create an account, and then go through the process of vouching for friends. And actually, that was a huge question I thought when I joined the team. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have all these angry girlfriends being like, or these wives being like, my husband's vouching for his friends, and I thought like, oh shit, like this is a weird mechanism to ask people, but it kind of shocked me that so many people want to vouch for their friends. And during COVID, we've seen this increase in vouchers because I think people know that people are lonely. I'm so lucky that I didn't have to spend 6 months alone. I had somebody to be there, but I have single friends, some of that have been on your podcast, that were home by themselves basically for 6 months, not getting social interaction, not, trying to meet people on apps, but still not being able to meet up and feeling comfortable with this. Like, it sounded miserable, and they were sad. It's a nice hype. It's a hype message. You get to make people feel good.
Yeah. I like that you can invite people who are not who are not single, who are married, to vouch for you. Yeah. So I gotta say, there's a lot of my friends who are married and been married, and one of the few last single people. And so it's kind of funny because before I used to give them my phone to swipe for me. I'd be like, yeah, swipe whatever you want, and if you get a match, you can talk to them. I don't care. And so it's just kind of it's just fun to also include them in this process. Yeah. To be like, look, you don't get to swipe, but you get to tell the world how amazing I am.
Well, they do. They do get to swipe. So once you become a connection, you guys become friends, you can go and swipe through girls for Zorric. And you can swipe left or right. Now, what it doesn't do is force the conversations. Like if you swiped right on Kim and you were like, she's great, it doesn't automatically force a conversation some sort of DM. It just, like I said, it sorts to the top of your stack. So you're swiping through people that one of my favorite stories, and I will never forget this story. I have a wonderful friend. He's wildly talented in the business world, but he has a physical deformity. He has I wouldn't even call it a disability because it doesn't keep him from doing anything, but it is visibly and noticeably different. Physical difference. Again, doesn't keep him from being successful, but I think that it catches people's attention. It kind of catches, they look at him because he's got a different look. And I had a friend who messaged me one time. She goes, hey, I just swiped right on so-and-so. I normally wouldn't have, but I did see the vouch message that you left for him. And I thought it was so cool that you talked about how he supports his family and what he's had to overcome and how he's the light in your, when I was hosting events, he showed up to every single one and was the person when I didn't have time to take a sip of water or use the bathroom, he was out there advocating for my cause and my team and saying, hey, you guys should join this club because they're great. He knew, he's just an angel. And I almost emotional thinking about it. She said, I swiped right on him. He didn't fit my normal physical, criteria, but I loved what you had to say about him. And they went on several dates and it ended up not working out, not because of anything having to do with it was just they're both heavy in the startup community. It was difficult, but it really made me feel so happy that it was less about that first split second kind of response to swipe left or right based on who someone
looks
is
like.
Or what they look like.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was focused on who someone is. And to be honest, to be totally transparent, if I could take photos out, I know how important they are to people. I mean, it is when you're buying a pair of jeans or who you're dating. I know that your physical attraction to something or someone is really important. But if I could, I really would love to take the focus of images out and really let people focus on who someone is and what makes them great.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, it's difficult to make that conversation sometimes with people Some are very eloquent, grammar's on fucking point, and some are just like one-word answers. I'm like, shit. I mean, obviously she probably maybe not into me or something. Sure. There's like a billion reasons why, but I think also maybe an app that would help us men that could barely speak this in some way. But we need all the help we can get.
I'll do the best that I can. I kind of like I use LinkedIn a lot. I get a lot of weird messages on LinkedIn, a lot of spam, like a lot of salesy things. But I occasionally, and I'm kind of known for this, I like to put people who try to slide into the DMs on LinkedIn and use LinkedIn like a dating app where they say something about like physical characteristics on LinkedIn. I like to rather than respond like either super aggressively and say, can you please not ever do that again? I like to use the prompts that come up on LinkedIn where like it'll be like, hey, beautiful, how's your day going? And it gives you like 3 choices. And they're like normally way off topic. Like it'll be like, my day's going, or my day's well, how's yours? And it just gives you like 3 automated responses on LinkedIn. You'll have to try this. And I will literally just press those and just see how long the conversation goes. It'll be like, okay, cool.
Or thanks.
Hello. Welcome. No, yes. And so I just use those, see how long it'll go. But then at the end I say, please never say that again. But I kind of like to think like, should I do prompts instead of dating apps?
Yeah.
No, I want dating to be personal. You know, as much as I am the representation and leader of an online dating platform, I'm a huge advocate for getting offline and getting out there and meeting people in a way that like if you're let's go back to the startup community, which I've done so much work in for the last 5 years. If you're heavy in the startup community and you want to meet someone who sees eye to eye with you, then be in the startup community, and not like you're going to a happy hour to find a date, but look for people who like are at your level and understand where you're coming from. You're not going to find those people in different environments. You're going to find them in the environment in which you work or you play or you live, and online might not be that. And I try to encourage people to use online dating like the way they use LinkedIn. It's an introduction tool, and I used to say pre-COVID, or BC as I like to call it, before Corona, is to think of dating apps as an introduction tool.
Yeah, I think you're right, because someone who's in the startup community really loves it. It's a different beast for some of us that are just... And I have met somebody at Startup Week, and we dated for a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, but then...
Do I know this person? Probably. I'll ask you later.
Maybe.
Rhymes with... No, I'm just kidding. But what I was going to say is like use it as an introduction tool. Much like Facebook. I mean, even Facebook. I meet really fantastic women who I want to hire and work with and even just mentor on Facebook. And if I told you that I met them online, no one thinks anything differently about that. But for whatever reason, online dating still has a stigma. Like people are still, the guy that I met first in the ER and then following up with the dating app, we had like this whole spiel of how we actually met after the ER. And it was totally a lie. We never said we met on Tinder because it had this stigma back in 2014 and it still exists. So think of dating apps as an introduction tool. They're not going to magically uncover who you are as a person or what the perfect match looks like for you. It's just letting you virtually now on 6 feet, socially distanced, cross shoulders or brush shoulders with somebody that you just wouldn't normally. It gives you almost an unlimited, in some instances, radius to connect with people. And it's, like I said, in a positive and negative way, a non-committal interaction.
Yeah, and then for people that are super busy like us, it's the best, like Emma calls me, tool. It's the best tool that you can use to meet people. Because, like we're all cooped up at home, most of us. I am too. Yeah. And it's just hard to... I miss going out to the restaurants and bars and food festivals. It's just the little things that you... meetups or whatever.
I miss a handshake, don't you?
Yeah.
Just like a firm handshake. Now I like want to bow to people. Or I don't even know what to do.
I do nothing. You just...
I don't even like... You just avoid all physical... I'm like, do we bow? Do we touch toes? Like someone said, like, give me a... not a high five. They called it like a foot five. And I was like, sir, this is a lot for me to process right now. I've never done a foot five. But you tap feet.
Yeah, or you curtsy.
That's what I do.
Curtsy.
Men can curtsy too. I
don't hate a curtsy. I kind of like it.
So another thing too is the whole world wants to know, Christiana, if I'm a single man or woman today, like, and I want to meet somebody, what's your recommendation on what should we do? It's a very broad question here.
Yeah, how much time do we have? It is a broad question, but I think about it a lot. And I think the ongoing theme that I've heard from friends, and a lot of my friends are single or have kind of been in the casual dating world for a while and are trying to transition out of that. They're trying to find somebody that if we were to quarantine again, who shares the same Netflix, preferences as them. Mm-hmm. They're looking for somebody that has, more of a long-term, potential with them. And what I've realized through them and through a lot of research is that you've really got to know who you are first.
Yeah. And what does that mean? That's so like Oprah-esque.
I know, and I hate it. It's cheesy, but I love it because I think it carries over not just to relationships, but to work. And like, what do you want? When I interview somebody for a job, I don't really care about your resume. My resume is the weirdest fucking thing you've ever seen. If you look at my LinkedIn, it's like, okay, she was working in the ER 5 years ago, and now she runs a dating app. It doesn't make any sense. But I ask people, what are you about, and how do you want to impact this role or this company? I don't ask the what's your 5-year plan? Because I don't know what my 5-year plan is, so I don't ask that question. But when it comes to relationships, I want to know who you are, what you're interested in, what you're about, and then I'm going to challenge you to figure out what your set of criteria or standards might be, and then think about why it is that way. I have some friends who refuse to date a person underneath a certain height, and I'm like, totally hear you, but how have the ones worked out before this? Like, you had a criteria, they fit that criteria, but did they challenge you mentally? Are they engaging? Do they understand your dynamic when it comes to X, Y, and Z? No. So why don't we think about changing that? And so it is very Oprah-esque, but it is really understanding where you're at, both personally, professionally, and then how committed you are to a relationship. I think the biggest thing right now that I'm hearing, I just did an episode of a show, basically half of it was dedicated to ghosting last night. And the stories that I heard about people getting ghosted, it's not funny, but I've just it's October, it's spooky season. What a good time to ghost. Never a good time to ghost. But the amount of people getting into conversation relationships who just get ghosted and left behind. I'm like, why are they doing that? It's all about intention. And it's all about knowing what feeds your soul, what gets you excited, what, wants you to continue, what makes you want to continue a conversation. And the people that ghost are most likely, and this is in my research, people who are kind of unsure where they're at between, do I want a casual relationship and do I want a real relationship? They're less likely to want to engage in conversation, ask the tough questions, or even give the tough feedback like, hey, this isn't actually my vibe, and I'm going to go. They just leave. They don't even say anything because it's easier to do that again because they're not sure where they're at.
Yeah, and there's no accountability today, right?
Nothing.
You can block somebody from Facebook or whatever, or your phone, and then it's fine. It's on to the next person.
Online dating. The beauty and the curse of it is that it's made it very dehumanizing.
Yeah, for sure.
I won't even say it's not dating. It's social media has dehumanized us in a way. You were talking about Chrissy Teigen, and I she's had a weird year, and I knew that they had trouble actually conceiving their first 2 children, and I knew that the third child was kind of like a risky thing. And I went through the comments of her post just to see. I was like, oh man, this is such a what are people saying to her? And can you imagine being in that place? And people were fucking mean. They were saying things, and I'm like, you would never walk up to a mom who's just lost her baby and say these things to their face. Why on earth are you going to? I'm going to talk to the guys for a little bit. Why on earth are you ever going to call a female a bitch through, Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, whatever?
Does that happen?
All the time. Half of women, and this number, it didn't surprise me, but it did also kind of humble me and thinking this is as bad a problem as I thought. 50% of women, and this is just what's been reported, right? This is a female stepping up to say, I've experienced this. So I know this number is higher. 50% of women have experienced some form of harassment on a dating platform, meaning they've either been verbally abused through that chat mechanism, or when they've gone offline, they've been verbally abused and or physically abused or sexually assaulted on a platform. 50%, that's half of women who are using these platforms have experienced something really, really negative. And I'm just thinking to myself, where the hell did we go wrong?
I think it's really uncovering society today, you know, and I think it's also giving men courage, or anybody courage, to say whatever the hell they want to, because there's no repercussion, right? I mean, you say whatever, and then
exactly. And I think, you know, I've spoken candidly about this before. I've made mistakes in relationships, and the times that I've made the mistakes in relationships is where I didn't have anybody holding me accountable. I wasn't being super open with my friends. I was just acting independently. If I had been more in connection or had people vouching for me or more like engaged, I would have been less of a, you know, less mindless about things. And so what I always tell people, and I've said this in investor meetings, which are normally what are called stale male and pale rooms. Like, it's old white men who are, you know, stale male and pale. I didn't make this up. Somebody else did it in these investor meetings. But they were very often rooms of 10 to 15 white males who are over the age of 50. I said to them one time in a pitch, because I was like, you know what? I don't even care anymore. I really want to get this message out there. If you have people vouching for you and they're rooting in you in your corner and they're co-signing, you know how hard it is to get a house. Sometimes you gotta have a co-signer on a loan, right? If you have someone co-signing or vouching for you, let's just use our Vouch app as an example. Maybe, just maybe, you're gonna be less of a dick online because you've got someone there saying like, "Hey, let's be good here," or holding you accountable. And there's just, in other platforms, that is missing. On every single platform, I've dug into a lot of research about what these apps look like. I'm looking for every new app, and sometimes they're ones that match you based on what dogs you like, and if you like certain wines. All cool, it's all fun, but what are we doing as the dating companies to empower people to be held accountable and to act respectively online, or be more respectful online? And, you know, I applaud Whitney Wolf of Bumble, who did a lot of work in the government to literally get rules put in place that if you were to send an inappropriate or unsolicited photo to a female, you can be fined X amount of dollars. I think it's up to $500. And I'm like, I want to build an app that I don't ever have to find somebody for sending a photo, because I'm empowering them with the vouch mechanism, which is different and unique and keeps you from maybe saying that. Like, can you imagine if your buddies were like vouching for you, or Emma's vouching for you? Are you going to go and be a different version of yourself, or a more insulting version of yourself? No.
But can you put negative feedback in the app?
I suppose you could. But much like references, you're going to send that invite to people who know you well or have a positive experience. So it does shift more positively, but you do have the opportunity to delete a vouch. And you also, I think this is very important, if someone sends you an invite to vouch for them, you can decline it. And although I am the face and brand and leader of Vouch, I have declined people's invites to vouch for them purely because I know what they're like offline.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I'm like, you're great. I love you. You're wonderful. But I know what you're like in the dating world. And I'm not going to co-sign as somebody who stands literally sometimes on a stage advocating for safety for women or equality for women. I can't do that. So we give people that opportunity to say, you're great, but I'm not going to. And it doesn't send them like a letter of rejection. Like, you're not getting like a, sorry, Zorric doesn't want to vouch for you. It just doesn't say anything.
Gotcha.
Keep it easy.
Because I think that's helpful. Yeah. You know, like, it just sounds like this is, a safe place, a safe app, because you're, like you said, you're putting your references, they're supporting you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just context and accountability. I think those are the two highlights.
Yeah. So, Emma, Christiana, what's next for you? What's next?
Oh my gosh. That's a big question.
Tell the future. What's next?
I've been digging a little deep the last couple of months and figuring out what it is. Kind of, where I challenge people to say, where are you at professionally, personally? Where do you want to go? How do you want to contribute to things? And one of my recent passions is producing. I love to create ideas. And it took me a while to figure out how I would take these skills and turn them into something. But I've been producing this very cool interactive dating show.
Nice.
That's based on Vouch in a way where you have people vouching for you. But I call it Shark Tank meets The Bachelor, where... Nice. I take my love for startups and my love for dating, and I let friends of single people pitch them on The Pitch, which is our show, with a pitch deck that they make. And it's, like I said, very startup. And you literally somebody put their unique value propositions and risks associated, and why would I vouch for this person, and 5 reasons why you should swipe right. So I'm really feeling like you guys are going to have to pitch each other on an episode of The Pitch.
Do it like in an 8th grade science project.
Oh, that's, you know what, to be honest, the worst presentations are my favorite ones. Like the ones like the least. Like
I'm going to use crayons to write mine for Emma.
We had somebody, it's been so you know, to answer your question, my next move is taking, you know, I don't think the world needs another dating app. I really don't. I'm so glad and proud and honored. And I've said this since the day I started to now, that it has been an honor of a lifetime to lead something like Vouch. And I'm so excited to see where it goes. But what I love more than anything about Vouch is the positivity and the advocating for others that comes out of it, that just ties so nicely from my love for patience, which is where I first started, to my love for startups and connecting people in the marketing world and connecting people to products, and now to connecting people in this very intimate way that could lead to a relationship or a baby or a marriage. Like, it's so cool. A lot of personal, you know, responsibility. So the pitch is just one piece of that kind of evolution towards how do I turn more meaningful content and create things that bring people together. I think with COVID, there's a lot of, I mean, to be totally honest, I've had moments of depression, super high anxiety, like what on earth is going to happen next? And, you know, what's happening in the world? And it doesn't just have to do with COVID. It's happening with the systemic racism that we're experiencing and the things, you know, awful things that are happening to men, women, people of color, all over the world. And what I think right now people need is positivity. And my favorite part of the pitch is watching those single daters who've been at home swiping by themselves on a couch, hear what their friends have to say about them, and things like that they've never heard. I mean, this is morbid, but sometimes I see videos and posts after someone passes away that are so positive that you're like, I've never heard you say something about this person as nicely. Like, they were the life of the party and they were these things. This really positive, like how you really feel comes out in these really dark moments or these really compelling moments. What I love about the pitch, it's nothing to do with people dying, but you get to hear what your friends think about you in a way that you just, you know, typically don't. And it is such a nice boost of confidence to see what people think about you. You know what it's been like to read a letter recommendation written for you, right? Like, or you read that recommendation on LinkedIn or the Vouch message that you get, and it's just like this extra boost of confidence. You're like, damn, I didn't know she thought about me like that. And you know, that's my favorite part. So the pitch has been a really fun way for me to evolve a platform into media, and I am new to it. It's live streamed on YouTube, which is so intimidating to be live on air. And then not for myself, I'm more like, God, everyone else is live too. So I you know, I'm playing host / producer, and I think it's one of the things I'm most excited about doing in the next couple of months, and it's blowing up, to be honest.
It definitely sounds fun because it's like a group event, and you know, it's friends talking about friends. So it sounds pretty cool. Where can they find that if they want to watch that?
We are the Pitch dating show on Instagram. That's where we kind of tease who's going to be pitched next. The cool thing is that people can tune in live and shoot their shot live. So if you see someone that's great, you can say, hey, you know, Lauren, I'm interested in you. We've got some girls who've like blown up on TikTok talking about their dating lives, and then we hosted them on the show. And it was so fun because they promoted it on TikTok, and then we had hundreds of viewers from TikTok tune in to essentially ask her questions live. And so YouTube is where we live stream and where you can get involved. And if you want to apply to be either a pitcher or a single dater on the show, you can do that on our website, which is tryvouchapp.com.
Okay, well that's cool.
So that's been fun. It's like a fun exercise for me to get creative, and I've got a lot of fun things I always work on in the background. I joke that like if I ever have time off, I accidentally spin out like another company or another concept. So this has been like kind of a fun way to exercise that, but. So I don't know what's to come. I'm just really loving this kind of producing role that I've been playing lately.
I think what we're excited about, Emma, is we don't know where she's going to be next in a year from now. But we would definitely want to check in with you and see what's going on.
Please do. I'm literally down the street.
Yeah, literally. I think we've said it all tonight. We've learned about Christiana's life, dating life. She moved around a lot. I apparently know more about her than Emma does. She likes snake plants.
Puppies.
There's something about Mickey Rourke that she does not like, but I mean, it's just. What did you learn about her, Emma? Come on.
So I'm just laughing at the Mickey Rourke, like her, like,
What a plot twist! Didn't expect that one, but yeah.
No, right? I
Yeah.
didn't either. I just thought it was like the greatest thing. I was like, I have to share this. I learned that Christiana like loves accountability, and I just like appreciate like your work and your efforts on like creating that accountability and like that safe space, because that's, you know, not something that everyone has a lot, and so it's really cool to kind of see it on the dating world, because that's unfortunately where it's missing a lot. So I just think that's awesome that you're like really advocating for this, and you're like, you know, sort of, for me, like at least like I feel like you're kind of spearheading this movement.
Oh, she's a representative.
Oh my God.
She's the princess.
Should I run for office? And like my whole stance is like, let's be more accountable, guys. Well, thank you. That really means a lot. You know, like I said, it's been a hard challenge, a difficult challenge to try and figure out where my skills and how they translate. And that connector that I was in high school, or having to move around and bounce around military bases my whole life, I think set me up for this position.
For sure.
And I'm really again honored to have the position, but I really love that I also have a whole community of people that vouch for what it is that I'm trying to promote. And it's anything from like, I promote the census to registering to vote to Fabletics athletic wear. I've just built a community of people that know that I'm not going to stand on a platform and talk about something I don't vouch for. And it might be medium rare steak or Mr. Potato Head, but they know that I'm not ever going to come out. I hold myself accountable in a different way than I ever have. One, because I stand on a literal, sometimes stage to advocate for these things. But more than anything, I hope people that see that it's still there. Like, people are still real. There's a lot of fluff out there, and I just try to avoid it.
Too much fluff.
So much fluff. It's so fluffy out there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we enjoyed our time. I know we did, because we played a game. We learned about you. We learned about Vouch. And
I can't wait for the new segment. What do you vouch for?
Yeah,
right?
that's it, Emma. I think we found it.
Sponsored by Vouch. I'll send you guys a payment later.
There you go. Anything happening this weekend? Any cool plans?
Oh my gosh, not really. I think I'm going to bring some friends here to check out your space.
Please,
they film a cool podcast, and they do it from home. I kind of want to let them see what it's like to be in a real studio. This is a great spot.
Anything you want to use, they can use. So.
All right, I think that's what I'm playing. That's my plan.
Okay. Well, let us know. I'll be here. You know.
I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna water my snake plants.
There you.
I'm hang out with my puppy.
Not too much water.
Not too much water.
I got those two right. Okay, I got very important ones right.
Very well done. Very well done.
Living things.
Anything else you want to plug, or any?
Oh gosh, I do all kinds of things. No, I just say be kind and love one another, and stay true to who you are. And if you have questions, I until I can, I still respond to any tech request for Vouch. Or if you have issues, or you're like, wow, this name sucks, or this brand doesn't make any sense to me, I think my favorite part about being a leader of a startup is I can change that at any time. So if the data drives me in that direction, or is saying, you know what, we need something that helps people be more grammatically correct in their messages, that I can incorporate these things. So if you have feedback, or you have questions, or you want to be on my dating show, that Instagram is a really good spot to kind of see everything that I'm up to. And like I said, I do a lot of promotion for the census. I hope y'all all filled it out.
I saw that. Yeah.
But besides that, you can see all the things I vouch for pretty much on Instagram.
I think Instagram's like the newest LinkedIn too. It's the best place to.
No one even asks me for my number anymore. Like, when I used to be at events, be like, "What's your Instagram?" I'm like, "You don't even need my email." And that's a great.
They want to see pictures, right?
It's a landing page for like who you are, and stories. I think added a layer of like, what does she do all day? She just water her pants all day. She's just hanging out with a puppy.
She is.
Eating her medium rare steak. I don't know. So if you want to follow along or see what I'm up to, I think Instagram's a good spot.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, thanks again for coming on. Thanks, Emma. Anything else, Emma,
guys.
you have to say? No, Emma?
No, I'm just I'm glad that she came.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Date Podcast. Please subscribe and review if you liked what you hear. Send us an email at hello@datepodcast.com for any questions, comments, or show topics you'd like for us to discuss. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Most importantly, tell your friends about our show.